Hey friends, so I just need to talk more about the bricked situation after this video was made by Dwarf Lord, give a little bit more context, because I'm just going to be real with you. I disagree with some of the things he's saying. So what do I disagree with? Let's just hear it from his mouth
Over to
first.
bricked, and basically the people who got the world record was a lot of phase 7 people. So this was our 47-minute run here. um, we have some DPS who died. It wasn't far from perfect, and I mean, I'm only doing okay damage. I'm an okay player. We have Kazakh, probably one of the best warriors in the guild, or sorry, in the world, farming everyone. And then we have the bricked run here, where it's just all phase 7 people. Honestly, Kazakh from phase 7, chemistry was in phase 7 and quit and refused to go back to phase 7 in our runs. Inwild, who was in phase 7 the entire time, but never once raided in phase 7. See, phase 7 has a history of orbiters. I think Kim's was raiding in phase 7 for a little bit, did a couple runs. This is Al. He did a couple runs in phase 7, but again, a lot of orbiters. So basically, pretty much everyone on this roster, except for a handful of people.
So let's just go back to what like his process was there, where the people that he listed, he was like, yeah, Kazakh was in both runs, and then he's like, well, chemistry refused to be in our runs ever again. The next guy, he wasn't in our raid. Like, if you look at the actual numbers of people that were like hardcore phase 7 people that then went over to the bricked, there's maybe like 10 to 15. The other people, maybe they've, like you said, they raided a couple times in phase 7, but that's just the nature of the server. Okay, like when there's not that many raids available and you're constantly recruiting and saying, hey, we're a good guild, come check us out. Like, yeah, some of these guys have raided in phase 7. Are they in any way connected and loyal to the organization? No, they're not. And why are they not a loyal member? Well, they see things like this
Out of the
happen.
blizzard, out of the blizzard. Fucking bring those flanks in a little bit. That's first, already in the middle. Everybody frost now. Everybody frost now. Frost now. That's 3 in the
And this
middle.
guy's just a streamer. He's
Use your
not a raider
hellstones as
right now.
needed. That's 4.
30.
Sorry, 4th is dead. We only have 3. That's 4. Hide
He
now.
just
Hide
now
Oh
now.
god,
raided.
Hide
oh god,
now.
I'm so fucking
Use a
stupid.
hellstone. Use a frost pot. Stay
I'm so
alive.
fucking stupid. I'm so fucking
Bro.
stupid. I'm so fucking stupid.
Alright, Foggy, you're gonna pick this up.
I'm
Foggy,
so
go
fucking
D-stance. Shield wall.
stupid.
Yeah. So, the main tank just died there. To give a little bit of context for this raid here, we're 34 manning Saf. I was dead as well, like a total noob, dying in a blizzard. But the main tank dying to not going behind a block is a raid wiper. It's
Necro, you.
really impressive here that this turned out to not be a wipe. They ended up killing the boss, so shout out to this group here. But I think there's some special context with this kill here, where this was like the whole guild coming together, everyone digging super deep. This here is a proper example of who is phase 7. The homies showed up for this, so I will give chemistry props that he's here for this. Um, they wanted to make it a GDKP, but ultimately we were able to down this as like a loot council 34-man group. So that's really impressive, really great. I think it was 34, maybe it was 31. I forget exactly. But anyways, very low manned, right? So that's impressive to be able to pull that out. So great for them. They got the kill, right? But the reality is that situations like this where you see a guy that is more focused on his streaming than the rating in a performance guild that is an officer, that's frustrating, right? Like this is just a guy that is supposed to step up and be able to do his job, and because he's distracted, he's not doing his job. And there were many cases of this within the guild. Um, it just felt like over time people just didn't really care anymore. So we'll look a couple here at 19's tenure of wipes where they just totally fail on the opener here. Ripperino, it's a wipe. Tanks don't pick up the boss. I would never recommend hunter pulling like this. Doesn't make really total sense why they do that. So that is a little bit of the struggle here that people were casting before the tanks were able to hit. But anyways, wipe. So let's look at some more wipes. This one's rough. So they just don't decurse. So unfortunate timing there where like it looks like he nearly instantly starts pressing, but the healing touch cancels it, tries to start decursing, but it looked like the first one didn't really work or something. So he's a step behind and they wipe because of it. Rip. So when I say, let's see here if I can find this. Yep. Is this it? This is it. This is it. Found it. Casts. When I look at this guy's casts, I'm hoping that was a misclick. Or maybe he was trying to get closer because maybe he was like eating or drinking in the back at the start. But everyone else had 5 decurses besides the 2 people that we saw, right? So unfortunately, they wipe because they don't have enough decurses. So there's another wipe there. This one is before the 19 addition to the raid, back when Fora was leading. I think it's important to give that little bit of context where I was a raid leader for Phase 7, and back then we just didn't have players as the *1 issue. So over time we got a lot more players. That's great. But the reality is that you kind of just had to do with what you had back then. And over time things got better. After I quit raid leading, then there was a couple in the meantime. Shout out to Pookster, shout out to Dwarf Lord for raid leading, that kind of stuff. But it was a little bit of dark times until Forashona came in, where he really fixed a lot of the problems, and the guild was finally able to break 60 minutes in Nax. So that was great, but there were a lot of struggles to get to that point to be able to break 60 minutes. We don't need that one anymore. But after Fora was done, that's when 19 then came in after a couple weeks of struggles, and he got frustrated. I can really relate to that frustration as being a raid leader in Phase 7, that I had a pretty similar situation as 19, as far as we were not the guild masters. We were just the raid leader. And the leadership core of Phase 7 is really nice to have so that you're able to disperse responsibility. But at the same time, like, you have to be able to figure out why the *1 DPS is dying when there's just a couple mobs here, right? I forget who's not tanking their mob, but someone's just not doing their job here, right? And it became a consistent struggle with people just not doing their jobs week after week after week after week. And that gets draining, that gets tiring, and that pushes players away. This was one of the first wipes post me leaving. And again, like, you're gonna see a lot of those names like Chemistry and a bunch of those other names that we talked about previously. So they've been through the struggles. They've been around for a long time, seen the good and the bad, and ultimately they are wanting to be part of the good, right? And we already saw this one. There's just a lot of bad times. Like, that's just the reality. I want to go back to this one.
Dude, like, how many times is it?
So they're just calling this guy out and he's AFK right here after they wiped.
Flow work.
Dude, like, how many times is it?
Way to go, Glower. Did the sun grow out?
So they wipe because of this. And these are just kind of the type of players that unfortunately would get back into the raid week after week. And it's just frustrating to be part of that environment, right? When you see someone that is so clearly not doing what they're supposed to, it pushes away the players that are doing what they're supposed to. And that really is, to me, the thesis that I wanted to cover today. Is I felt like this video was blaming like 19 and that core of players for destroying Phase 7. That's kind of what it feels like Dwarf Lord's feelings are heard about. But the reality is, like, it just comes down to a lack of leadership. Hadrian was also a part of the leadership in Phase 7 previously, and I just really like this quote. I'm going to read it all because I think it's so true. I guess what's truly staggering to me is like Phase 7 breaks 60 because of Fora. He was a really good raid leader. And they got down to like subs 50. And then somehow with like 100% of the officer core full of noobs who either die or fail to potion or fail assignment or can't break 1,000 DPS, this core was able to retain leadership and control over the best guild and era. It's crazy to think. It's like when you and your buddy start a small computer business and you invite your genius friend Mark Zuckerberg to come over and carry you and make a great product. You and your bozos are co-leaders of the best company in North America. And Mark Zuckerberg doesn't beam you, even though you're dog shit. And he alone is the reason for your success. I think it's a step further than this. Um, it's like Mark Zuckerberg then brought in some talent to help fill out the group, right? Like 19 brought some really good players with him when he started to raid in Phase 7. And I think that that is a little bit of the cope where it's like, oh, we lost all our good raiders. It's like, no, you lost the raiders that were originally part of 19's group that were in Phase 7, but they weren't ever loyal to Phase 7, right? Like, you didn't create that culture. You didn't build things up properly. Um, as someone that was a raid leader, it just felt like that back in my day, different leadership in a lot of ways, but still the same exact symptoms and problem of you just don't feel like you can do what you want when you have a raid leader and a whole core of officers also. The raid leader has what they want to do, and the core of officers might just keep that back and hamstring that, sometimes in a good way to like make more of a balance, but eventually it's going to be in a bad way where the raid leader feels like that they don't have control, they can't make the decisions that they need to move forward with the raid and make positive growth. And that's really what it comes down to. So again, just want to highlight, I don't think that this video here from Dwarf Lord is totally fair and just feels a little biased in terms of hurt feelings about how the situation turned out, how he lost his guild that he was an officer in. But, you know, no hurt feelings. I think that there is nothing but good intentions behind Phase 7. It's not like they were bad people who were doing, you know, terrible things. It's just the reality of the situation that they couldn't do what they needed to do. And I don't think it's fair to blame others for that. I think that you have to look inward. So anyways, GG's. Thanks, guys.